Tell you what is a worry, though, and that was what we saw today, this afternoon. Dicko, and that's where you're going to head with your first crack.
Yeah, it's Melbourne. They're on the nose at the moment. Not because we're coming into ski season. Don't even go there. That's not where I'm going. I'm going with the method. And I think it's madness right now because the way they're playing, I think the players are confused. 92 points is not a mulligan anymore. It's a triple bogey right now in terms of where they're at in their season. West Coast beat them. That might have been a mulligan. You never know. You go to Perth, hard trip. Some, circumstances maybe, but you're not on tonight's form. And the way they lost that game of footy, not in the last quarter, not in the third quarter, in the first 10 minutes of that game, they knew, and I knew exactly where this game was going with their energy, with their method. So the old method was go long, win contest. It was a territory game and it was a strong game. Then they've flipped it and they've gone back to the slower controlled, high marks and not aggressive. So Melbourne, got all these forces through the middle of the ground and their forward line when you get it in and get isolation, hard to beat. But right now, in terms of that, like if their old method was overlapping their new method, that's where I see the confusion right now is the players, they want to play a long game and then you want to play aggressive. That's not part of the plan. And I think the confusion set in. So you look at the marks, right? They want to take marks. That's part of the new method. So when they played West Coast won the uncontested marks. They controlled the game, plus 43. Brisbane did the same when they beat them, plus 45. Freo today, plus 40. So they just did whatever they wanted. It was a training drill. The effort wasn't there, but I just think the method right now, they are on the nose, Melbourne. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to qualify. I think they'll still qualify in terms of they'll win their fair games coming home, but they're not going to be a contender the way they're playing right now.
I'm blown away by the contested footy profile of Melbourne after today. They just got smashed. Everywhere the ball went, they got smashed. Now, normally in your forward half is the concern. They've had a lot of issues over the last couple of years trying to find that player that can win a contest. So if you just go forwards versus the opposition backs, forward of centre, it was minus 35 contested possessions. That's a mauling, right? Then you go the other end and think, okay, you're not really meant to win that stat because defensive programs normally have more players coming back. Break-even's a huge result. But minus 35, you can't score. You got no hope of getting inside 50, so they have 37 inside 50s for the day. So they've got an obvious and known problem there that they haven't had the answer to for a long time now. And I don't know what the answer is and whether the answer is even on their list. Is it Christian Petrarca full-time forward? They're the discussions that they're going to have now. And even he was getting frustrated.
Well, I was going to say, watching the faces of the leaders today, particularly Petrarca, was pretty telling, wasn't it?
And then you go to the other end of the ground. So their defenders, Stephen May and co versus the Freo forwards, and it was plus 7 to Freo. So they got smashed at one end and beaten at the other. It should be a minus for Freo, was a plus 7. So they've got issues that they have to address immediately. This is not a mulligan, given that they are a great contested possession team.
And normally Simon Goodwin is very supportive publicly of his players. I think he read the room a bit today before the post-match media conference.
That's about as performance as you can get, and it's one we certainly won't tolerate. There's inconsistencies in our game that, and that trend's been there for a little while now, and we understand there's elements within our method that aren't right, but the inconsistencies not only from week to week are concerning, and we'll look into the why, because that performance is clearly completely unacceptable in where we want to be as a team, and I know our supporters would want more. When you lose by the margin we lost by, that's unacceptable as a footy club, and that certainly hasn't happened a lot in my time in being here. And we have a proud group of leaders that'll be looking to respond pretty fiercely.
So he's put it on the leaders, and of course King's birthday Monday against Collingwood will be the time to display it straight away.
Just on that, so Goody said unacceptable, the scoreboard. Take away the scoreboard for a minute and you just take on, you said they're bulls in the middle of the ground, so the contested game's really red hot. So the clearance today, plus 24 for Fremantle. That's the best in 10 years.
For Freo.
For Freo. So you're looking at it right now, Freo have just helped themselves to their best record in 10 years, plus 24. And I'm like, okay, they got balls through the middle of the ground. They rolled, seriously, they threw the towel in a long way out. So they didn't fight through it. And then, obviously, the flip side of that is Melbourne lose it. And what's that? 10-year. That's a result, the worst result in 10 years for them.
Only one poorer, which was minus 28 to Brisbane, I think it was, last year. Yeah. So that profile, that's not Melbourne. And full credit to Freo. Yeah. They brained them, and we'll get to Freo in a moment. But the Melbourne side of things is catastrophic. When you look at the scores from clearance now.
Yeah, so you got plus 48. So to score from the clearance, like that's, I mean, around 2013 was there last time they did this Fremantle. So we're talking over a decade again. And for Melbourne to concede that hasn't happened since 2015. So these are world record numbers right now. In 10 years of football, like that's the worst game Melbourne's played through the middle of the ground, like the arcs. And that's a disgrace when you got the likes of Petrarca, Oliver and the A-graders through that middle of the ground. Unacceptable, and I would be filthy if I was Simon Goodwin right now.
I think let's have a look at some vision and just see what it looks like from a Melbourne point of view, because I don't know if I've seen them as casual, ball in hand in the back line, and just these easy kicks. I mean, that is a 10 out of 10 kick. You just hit those lateral and backwards kicks at will. But they're just so casual, and it didn't look like it really meant anything. Didn't look like there was any investment in the game. It didn't look like they were energised to play. And Fremantle were the total opposite. And have a look at them hunt here. As soon as they smelt an opportunity to intercept, they were all over them. Pressure was really good, hemmed them in that forward half and didn't let them out. I think they scored something like 90-odd points, 89 points from forward half work. Like numbers you've never seen before. They were calm. They were brutal when they had to be, but when they got the ball on the outside, they made them pay. Have a look at these sorts of plays here. I mean, this just... I don't know where Simon Goodwin starts.
Their recovery was so slow. When they were tackled to the ground, Fremantle were up and numerical advantage. I mean, that's a disgrace.
That's embarrassing. And I know he apologised for it afterwards, and we all make mistakes. It's an act of play, but it was like, are we really at this level now? It was bad, and then it just got progressively worse. So... Big trauma. And then I want to just show some of the confusion. So they've changed their ball movement model. Yeah. So are they a possession team? Are they a handball team? Are they a kick mark team? Are they a down the line team? So I think there were times where Max gets them out of trouble so often, takes a big mark. So they want to go. So they handball in, and then, we can't go there, handball back. And now what are we doing? Because there's no one else there to support that handball chain. So it's clearly not by design. So they're caught in between two models. This is the exact same play. Exact same play. So they want to go run and gun, that's fine. But they just drop out of it so quickly. So I think it's confused. We had this discussion a few weeks ago. Do they go back to their profile of 2023
what do you
and
think?
Reset and allow themselves to get their contested possession game going long down the line? It looks boring and it looks flat, but this is them at their best. But they've got to be a contested possession team to do that.
So you think yes, do that?
No other option. This is dying on the vine.
So the bigger question, which will be full discussion for another day, are we worried now that this Melbourne group might only deliver one premiership?
Yeah, I've said this for a couple of years now. So when they won the flag, their method and their system I thought was going to sustain. And I thought they were going to be the next Richmond. You know, they might win 3 in a row, or they might win. They definitely pinched 2 and at best 3 in this window. To have 1 right now and look so far out of it is a real embarrassment to Melbourne Footy Club with what they had.
They're hard to win. They're hard to win.
But they're hard to win, but you had to jump on the competition that year. They were clearly the best team by a long way, and then to just drop out. And now they're coming back in, but like you said, from a method. But I want to throw it back to the coach too on this. So for 3 quarters, there was no magnets being moved. So they're getting smashed all over the park.
When you lose contest, it's hard to move magnets because you're moving losers, blokes who aren't getting contest wins to other areas that are just as important. But just before we leave Freo.
Praise Freo before we move on to the next one.
Yeah, I thought that's as good as I've seen them play for a long time, and it's easy to say that. It was almost the perfect game for them today. They moved the ball at will. They were unchallenged with their uncontested marking game, and full credit to how they played their contest work, particularly at clearance. Lights them up now. So let's wait and see where this takes them.
Amos got some confidence back in front of goals as well, which was important. So a great day for the Dockers.